All right, here we are kicking off rapid funnel training, and the next segment by Savannah is on statistics.
Yes. Okay. Let me get to the right side. Here we go. Okay. Understanding metrics with your app using statistics and inspecting your expectations, making sure you're being real with yourself. How do we do that through the app? So you're working hard, you're making your exposures, you're having conversations, you're sharing your story, you're sharing the opportunity, you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, right? But as you're working and like putting the activity in, how do you know if it's actually working or not? How do you know what activity you really should be spending your most time on? What resource is really working the best? Who you should be spending time with? And as a leader, as you start building a team, how do you know who you should be spending your time with? How do you know if people are actually doing what they told you they were going to do? Are they being accountable? Are they putting the work in? Who should you be putting your time into and investing into so you can have the highest payoff and really invest time wisely? And 2 hours on Facebook, scrolling through, looking to who to talk to, but you have no idea who you should be really investing time with. And inspecting what you expect is imperative to being successful in our industry. So our solution is we have real-time tracking data on activity in the app. It's so cool. I used to track my activity on a notebook piece of paper. So every conversation I had, I would make a little tally, and then I'd add it all up at the end of the month. And then I remember a season I went through, like I find I was always thinking about my business, but I was never actually doing the work to go and create the results I wanted. So I was very frustrated. Has anyone been there? You're always thinking about it, but you're like, you don't have the activity to really back it, right? I feel like that's just, you have to go through that season. Otherwise, you're not a real entrepreneur. You have to go through that. But there's ways that you can beat that and be efficient with tracking, so you can understand, okay, I only talked to 4 people last month. I should not have high expectations about my business growth because I literally talked to only 4 people. But now you could set goals. Okay, now this month I want to talk to 10 people. Next month I want to talk to 20 people. Next month I want to talk to 30 people, right? I know, Dave, you were just saying I'm going to send 25 people. I'm going to send 25 people a text on my plane ride. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Set some goals, but you have to have numbers to see where you're currently at so you can improve. So we're going to jump in. I'm going to show you how to do this in the app because it's so simple and it literally stares you right in the face every time you open the app, so you can remember what your goal is, what your focus is. And I love it. Awesome. I'm a numbers tracky person. That's great. Do I have any people with athletic backgrounds or sports, or have like lost a significant amount of weight or done anything athletic?
Yes, on all of the accounts above.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to speak straight to you, girl. If you don't track your calories, can you expect to lose weight?
Well, I mean, personally, I've done it for so long. It's a mental tracking, but yes, you cannot. It's in and out. You have to know what's going in and what your output is.
Exactly.
I'm a rugby player though, so I gotta say, maybe Dave can relate to me, is even when rugby's finished, we're still eating like rugby players. And it's kind of hard mentality to switch off because I love my Thursday night carb prep meals for Saturday games, and I don't play on Saturdays.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's such a good example. That's so great. So when you play rugby, what if you were eating like crap? You weren't really doing what your coach was telling you to do. Would you expect to see good results in that game if you weren't showing up to practice, doing the things you could be real with yourself and you wouldn't expect to be doing very good. But the players that are like in the game, they're showing up to the practice, they're doing everything they need to do on a daily basis because they're focused and they're real with their coach, and their coach knows exactly what they're doing on day in, day out. Like, they're committed, they can see they're accountable. That's a person that's going to kick butt, right? And they're tracking, they have numbers to back them up, right? Like, I showed up to practice, I did these workouts, I'm eating what I'm supposed to, I've hit these macros, like that's someone that you'd want to be working with as a coach. And so same thing here in business. Athletics and business, I just in the coaching realm has so much identical similarities, but here you can see your numbers. And so the lead measure here is you're focusing on your engagements, your exposures and engagements. And this is very important. And so that's why this is right here in the forefront of everything, is because this keeps you focused. And so if I had only, like this month, the month of August, I've only made one exposure. Okay, that's great. I should have really low expectations because I'm not really sharing anything. I'm not exposing the opportunity. And how do you expand your business? You expose the opportunity, right? And you have to show this to people. And so my goal could be, okay, the month of September, my new goal is going to be, I'm going to have this number be 30. I want 30 people exposed, because that would be one person a day, right? So that's simple. That's a simple goal. One person a day. That can be my new goal. But then down here is statistics. So if I click here, this pulls up the statistics page. So I can see over the lifetime of using this app, I've made 7 exposures and all 7 of those people have engaged. I have a 100% engagement rate. That's awesome. That's good. That's a good engagement rate. But over the last 30 days, I can see I've exposed 2, just like I was showing you. And I've had both those 2 people engaged. So I had 100% engagement rate, which is good. And then resources opened, same thing. But this starts to change. If I, like, let's say, Nathan, let's say I was going to send you 10 resources. That counts as 1 exposure because it's to 1 unique person, but that counts as 10 resources sent. So there's a difference. It doesn't count as 10 exposures because an exposure is only 1 person, but it counts as 10 resources sent. So it's a little different tracking, but it's very important that it's differentiated. But so I can come here and see I've sent 7 resources and how many of those were actually opened. And then I can see my email opt-in here. So my percentage is 33, which is pretty good. Anything above 30 is good. So that's where you can come and set some goals with yourself. And let's say I jumped on a call with Nathan, and Nathan brought me into business. Like, he's helping me, he's got me started. And Nathan, I'm frustrated. I've been doing this for 2 months. I haven't seen any results. Like, I'm oh, like, have you ever had those conversations? Right? Like, there's like, maybe you get started and it's not what you thought it would be, or like, I know you guys have an awesome, like, you're like the best company to be within the real estate space, but people have never had to build a team before, so they don't know what they're doing, and they're frustrated. Like, I thought everyone would want to start, like, I just have to send them a link and they sign up, right? Like, that's how it works. No, there's a little bit more work to it, right? You have to invest a little bit more time in that, share them, educate them. And so if I had that conversation, this is what you could do. Hey, Savannah, why don't you go into your app, just pull up the home screen, and then go and click on statistics. And let's look at your numbers. I want to see how many exposures you have. Not to put you down at all, but let's set some goals from here. Let's look, okay, awesome. You've made 2 exposures this month. Perfect. And this button right here, this brag button, this is a powerful tool. This just takes a screenshot of your statistics. And so you can say, hey, open up your statistics, hit the brag button and share this with me. This will open up your texts and your threads, and you can just text me the picture, send that over a text, and send that screenshot of your statistics. And so I'll send Nathan a picture. I just text him a picture of my statistics page, and then he can coach me from there. Okay, let's set some goals. Why don't the next 30 days, let's get that number to 15 exposures, and then we'll talk. And then that's going to be your focus. That's your goal. How's that sound? And then you can start to coach from there, and that's directly impacting the success of their business because you're keeping them focused on the lead measure. What matters most? Exposing the opportunity. What matters most? Sharing some resources from the app, sending it to people, pushing to social media, doing what we talked about earlier. So it keeps people focused and engaged, and it makes coaching way more effective because you have some actual data to work with people. So that's the statistics. Any questions? Awesome. Okay. How many of you are excited to go and look at your stats? Awesome. Good. Some people, it's a come to Jesus moment. It's like, oh, wow, I really need to focus on this more, but it's good. You have to be real with yourself in order to see some growth. So my challenge to you, go and look at your own personal statistics, and then go tell your team. If you have those conversations, go and have that dialogue, be like, let's look at your numbers. Like, don't, like, there's no reason to be down and stuck here. Like, let's grow, let's set some goals.
All right, that's fantastic. Thank you.